Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and today I'm here with the beautiful astrologer, sidereal astrologer Karasi Atasio, and we're going to talk about the new age of Aquarius. Hello, Karasi.
Hello, Wada. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Wada. Hello.
Thank you, Krasi. Can you start? So many people interested from astrological viewpoint, from esoteric viewpoint. What will this new age of Aquarius entail? Everyone knows we're going, and we have started already by waves entering into the age of Aquarius. Like the masters, the occult masters, they say the age of Aquarius and different astrological ages, which each lasts around 2,100 years, they don't start on a set day exactly. They start on waves. It's like a tide that's coming. First a little wave, and every few years waves, or a few decades waves, or a few hundred years waves. And we do know that the exact astronomical point of Aquarius starts when exactly? Astronomically.
Wada, it will start in approximately 360 years, approximately, because exactly what you said, in other words, astrology is just, and the universe, these are just cycles within cycles within cycles. So we are going to approach the closure of one cycle, which will be indeed the astronomical closure of the era of Pisces, which actually was launched esoterically by Jesus Christ. And we can follow up astrologically these cycles. We can, and we do. So indeed, because in the ancient astrology, you know, every 30 degrees astrological zodiacal sign is divided into 12 equal 2.5 degrees dodecatemoria. So we do have a few dodecatemorias to go, and each one is 72 years. So each degree is 72 years. If we have now in 2014, we entered the dodecatemoria of Mars, and with this we entered another cycle. So after that, we just have one more to go, and we are really ending up with the astronomical cycle of Pisces. So we are actually astronomically in something like pre-Aquarius era.
Mm-hmm. But the occult masters, like Beans the Master, Beans Duno, he said that the age of Aquarius started already 100 years ago. The first waves of Aquarius, just like when the sun is rising, the sun rises at a specific moment when you see the first ray, but it's already day, like an hour before that. You can see the light already an hour before. So you see the new day has started. And 100 years ago, he said the first wave of Aquarius energy is coming now, I believe. And we can see it because from 100 years ago, the huge Aquarian energy of technology started coming. So that's very Aquarian. Technologies, more knowledge to people, more awareness of freedom, more awareness of rights, even though they're being taken away now. And of course, always the dark forces try to oppose whatever the energy of the coming ages. They try to go opposite. So now we have a huge wave of Aquarius. And of course, the forces that oppose evolution, they always rush and try to do the opposite. So they try to make as many restrictions as possible when the new waves are starting to come, because and we shouldn't be angry at them. This is divinely ordained role for them, let's say, because it pushes contrast and it pushes the awakening on a deeper level, because awakening cannot happen without the opposing force. We're seeing massively in the past 1 year what has been happening. Even people that weren't spiritual and esoteric, they're turning to those topics to understand what's happening. They're starting to question. They're starting to look for knowledge and information. But we still are in the last phases of Pisces. So it's like we're running already Aquarius first waves, but we're still running out of Pisces. And as we know, Pisces is the last sign. So it's very karmic. It's a sign of paying off karma. That's why it's been so hard in the last 2000 years, and especially at the end of Pisces is when people pay the biggest karma, when people when the most difficult events happen, so to say. And in the last 100 years, 2 world wars, whatnot, it's like what we've been living through, it's extreme, everything is speeding up. But Pisces age is always also when according to ancient knowledge, when the sun is, our solar system is the furthest away from the central sun alveola, or from the star, from the mother star system of the sun, which Duno said it was Sirius, as far as I remember. And because we're furthest away, the spiritual information is furthest, so it's the hardest, it's the most, the spiritual energy is the furthest, so it's the most difficult times, psychologically, emotionally, physically. But we're starting to move closer and closer, and it's going to take 10,000 years till we get to the closest point, so we have a long way to walk, but still we're on this ascending scale now. Can you tell us, Kratin, what do you see with Aquarius age? How do you see?
What are they too interesting? Exactly. Yeah, very interesting, because like we said, these are the last two small mini cycles to go through. One is Mars. And if this cycle would be 2 times 72 years, because, well, I don't want to go into mathematics, but indeed, we still need to go through. We immediately felt, actually, look, in 2014, we felt more powerful, the martial energies. We had this manifested in many different ways, even disease. We will not go deep into this, but we will experience on one hand the martial energy still for another more than 100 years, but also what is very typical for this Aquarius era is the deprogramming, because since the humanity knows itself, we are being programmed. Mm-hmm. Take any human-made, man-made religion, take just any, because we all know the saying that the history is being written by the winners. So even the history is a programming. So we're being programmed since ages. I see this new pre-Aquarius era as the time of deprogramming our minds. And exactly this is what is happening. This is why now astrology is so important, because in your horoscope, you can see programs encoded in your contract. And then with knowledge, you can deprogram this, because see, we were programmed for ages on the level of our DNA that we are simply slaves, that we cannot do anything, that we enter this earth with our program. We cannot even change, imagine, our fate. Mm-hmm. And now, because there is this layer which is just falling apart, and information is overwhelming us, and it's coming from every direction, we can see that actually this is exactly the time to know and to deprogram these programs, which are that very old, more than 2,000, even more, thousands of years. So this is one of the key advantage that we have now. Mm-hmm. And even the program went that far that in the 10th century, the Bogumils, who were exactly teaching and preaching, that the Bulgarian Bogumils, which were spread all over the planet, in France, even in the Middle East, they were everywhere, were killed and destroyed by the Matrix and by the dark forces, only because they were teaching that humans can create together with the Creator, that what you speak with your speech and with your thoughts, you create your reality. That they would even, the saying which is now used by the Masons, what was it? Freedom, equality, brotherhood comes from them, and now it's being
Oh, yeah.
misused against us. So the thing is that now is exactly the time, and we're given this amazing opportunity for deprogramming, for finding who we really are.
Mm.
But with knowledge, we cannot do this just like that. We really need to. I believe it is the astrology comes now into even more powerful and useful, if you want, position, because with knowing exactly your horoscope, you can do magic for yourself. And also the planets and the stars are not simply balls or whatever figures which are turning in the sky. These, and exactly the master being Sadhunu is saying this, these are they are being ruled and inhabited by very wise deities. So actually it is also the time for us to align with them, to understand our real purpose, how they influence us, to align them for good. So this is how I see actually the importance of knowledge now and deprogramming, because nothing is more important than that, I believe.
Aquarius does rule astrology, so I think astrology will astrological knowledge and other, because Aquarius rules all kind of systems of knowledge. So not only astrology, there's phrenology, there is all kind of and scientific systems of knowledge as well. That will be the tools through which we reprogram ourselves. But astrology will be one of those. And the deprogramming will be the deprogramming of the Pisces lower vibration. We'll keep the higher vibration of the Pisces age, which is compassion. Humans were not as compassionate 2,000 years ago before Pisces started. They were not, it's very slowly, the energies of an era and a constellation enter into us very slowly. But just think about 2,000 years when the entertainment of humans was watching other humans being killed and eaten by animals in the arenas in Rome. Now for
Exactly.
us, it's a nightmare. Now you see a kitten being kicked and you're like, you see a child starving and it's something goes into you. There are psychopaths still. There are people
Oh,
who don't have
definitely.
compassion, but they're the minority. While the majority of people, probably I would say 80%, if not more, they are kind, there is goodness in them, and this is what the Pisces energy put into us. Pisces developed the arts, the beautiful arts of the last 2,000 years, the compassionate energy, but the low vibration of Pisces is victimhood. I am at the mercy of
I'm a slave. I am a slave. You
like,
are not, because with your thoughts, with your speech, you create you that the master Bin Suduno is saying what? That is why, as you said, he is the one who came to introduce us in advance into the new era of Aquarius. He said what? You create thought form, thought shape, word. That's why we say this, the speech of God, because God created this universe with his speech. So you can imagine the speech and your thought is so important, and we are not slaves,
so
definitely.
Pisces was more like have total faith and trust, and God will save you. And now Aquarius is like you're the creator. You with your, and Aquarius of course rules thoughts and the mind over matter. And you see how abundant those teachings are starting to come now into our reality. The law of attraction, the mind over matter, and this is occult training. This is esoteric training. When occult schools are open, there were always mystery schools. For each age, every 2,000 years, a new master or masters would come to bring the new knowledge, to train the different faculties in the human beings, because every 2,000 years, different qualities are being developed. Our consciousness changes. We're very different from 2,000 years, from 4,000 years. We did not think the same way. We did not feel it the same way. We did not see reality.
Exactly.
We did not, actually, before the age of Aries, humans did not have logic. Logic was developed with the ancient Greeks. They could not think logically. You can give them, bits and bobs and bolts and a diagram. They could not put it together. This developed in the last 2,000-3,000 years. And now with Aquarius is mind over matter. You become the creator, the co-creator. Your words, your thoughts about yourself, you're given more freedom. Aquarius is freedom. Till now, we were like little children. We were kind of everything was way more fated for us. That's why astrology was so fated. And in Pisces as well, the Piscean energy is like, I'm at the mercy of the universe. This is the energy of it. I would go with the flow. But now it's like, no, I'm taking my destiny in my hands. I'm going to create my reality with my own thoughts. I'm going to learn to control my own thoughts. And that's the task of the next 2000 years. But a lot of people that are more advanced are already awakening to that. If you're into astrology, if you're into self-study, if you're into law of attraction, visualization, you're doing the Aquarian work. And before, people were being trained only in mystery schools in the previous ages. Like it would be very secret. They would take, like Jesus Christ had his 12 students, Pythagoras had his students that can only go into his school and then go and teach others. Now, the universe or God has decided everyone will have access to this knowledge, because it's time for everyone to learn how to be master of their thoughts, to become independent. So now you don't need to be part of a mystery school. All you need to do is study, learn, and all those techniques, they're available. They're being discharged to us from above. They're being given to people. This knowledge is coming up outside. This is the mystery school. It's in life. But in life, in your own bedroom, you're sitting and you're imagining, how do you want to live now? And start imagining the details. That's what I do every night before I go to sleep. Maybe that's why I can't fall asleep easy, because I get too excited. I imagine with details the trees that I want in my garden, the people that I want around. What is the feeling when my kids pick up the vegetables and fruits they grew up themselves and come and cook with them, and we sit around the table in a community and we laugh, and I get so happy and excited. And this is how you're going to create, because those thoughts, image, they stay in the ether and they start attracting the right circumstances to you in order to create this image. And usually it happens in a much better way than you imagine, because you can't think of all the details yourself. Of course, there's your higher self or God that has the better details. But I wanted to say that we're just mentioning so little about the age of Aquarius, because there is so much more we can talk about. And we are doing a summer retreat in Bulgaria, and the sacred places that our teacher, both Krasi and my teacher that lived 100 years ago, he was the teacher of the age of Aquarius. And he said, and that comes every 2,100 years, a different teacher comes. And we're going to take you to those sacred places where he taught his school, where he gave all this knowledge. And this knowledge is now everywhere. This knowledge is, it's not necessarily known as his knowledge. He says it doesn't have to be known as mine, but he says all this knowledge about law of attraction and your own power will be spreading. But we want to show you, we're going to take you to those places. We're going to show you the sacred dance of paneurythmy. We already have a group. So now everyone who wants, they can come and join us. They can buy their ticket. I'll put the link below. And for 7 days or 6 days, we'll be going to sacred places only, and we'll be doing lectures in nature on the astrology of the new future, of the coming close years and the long-term future. Me and Krasi will do astrology, and Zorina will do Silva method of visualization. Me and Krasi will do theory. Zorina will do practice with you with the methods of the age of Aquarius. And they're very scientific methods. They're not some woo-hoo candle, dancing naked, going like, they're very scientific. They're sacred, and they're about connecting with one another, because Aquarius is the power of the community. Aquarius is a few people together, or a group of people, because we'll realize how the age of Aquarius is to realize that creating with others is way more powerful and much faster. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be first talking the theory of this, and Zori will be teaching you those practices that are given to us in different names through different teachers. But most of the time, we'll be out in nature. We'll be going to healing places. We'll be going to a big festival. Don't worry, it's in nature. It's high in the mountains, where it's a spiritual festival that people dance sacred dance. It's going to be in August, so do check if you want to join us. Everything is covered, everything is included, even your food is included, and we'll just create a community. We'll create a friendship there, and maybe friendships for life. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about the age of Aquarius. again, it's something that Master Bean Suduno says. I don't know if you've read that, Karasi, and I was very fascinated. He said that the first wave of souls that will come in the age of Aquarius, and he says they're starting to come already, they will be of a Neptunian ray, he described it. The souls of the ones that will really change humanity from this victim state, or from this more aggressive state and fear state, are the souls of Neptunian ray, that are souls of unconditional love. He says children will be born, and they're being born, and they'll continue more and more children to be born that have so much love in them, that don't have a bone of aggression or anger in them. And they will start transforming. They're not necessarily going to be leaders or anything like that. They'll just be in your family, in your community, and with their love, your vibration, their unconditional love will touch something in you and raise your vibration. Then he said the next wave in the age of Aquarius will be children and souls with a Uranian ray. And he says there will be incredible geniuses. There will be scientists that will bring the science that for now is not allowed to come for humans because it's too dangerous, but it's science of a very high level that can transform the planet, you know, not in the crazy genetic way like now, but it's spiritual science. It's a science that it's spirituality and science tapped in that can take us to the next level. And he said the third wave during the age of Aquarius of souls that will come will be of children of a Pluto ray. And he describes those that are children of will. So children of love first, unconditional love, children of genius, incredible intelligence, and children of incredible willpower. They'll be like the magicians, not talking dark magicians, but magicians in a way that they can, with concentrated willpower, you can move objects, you can create rain, you know, these are the master magicians basically. And it will come in 700 years waves, but they say there'll be always of the three types throughout the age of Aquarius, but the predominance will be the children of love in the first 700 years, the children of genius in the next 700 years, but there'll be always from them mixed together, but they'll predominate certain numbers. And he says, because they asked him when he was living, there were the two world wars, and he asked them, "Oh, master, how do we change the world? There is so much aggression, so much pain, just like what we're going through now. We're so fearful. We're like the world is falling apart. Our rights are being taken. We're going into a much more scary reality than instead of this beautiful freedom of Aquarius." And the teacher said, "Don't think how to sort out the world. Whoever created the world, he knows how to sort it out. Just be a good person. Just do what you have to do. Do your own responsibility. Be good to others." He says, whoever created the world and those circumstances will sort them out. And then he gave them how in the age of Aquarius, those souls. So basically, by allowing different kind of souls to come, this is what's going to fix things. And already children are so different, so more evolved. So don't fear what is happening right now. There is a master plan behind it all. Of course, don't be total slaves. But take personal responsibility for your own life. And some of you might be saving the world. Some of you might be awakening large groups of people. But first, your duty is towards yourself to think of what kind of life you want to live and how to get more freedom and more autonomy without being subservient and slaves to a system. That's your responsibility for now. And then everything will come together, don't worry. But yeah, that's what I want.
Since we're speaking about independence and not being slaves anymore, still something to clarify. This doesn't exclude the role of the creator, of indeed the one who created this universe. So it is more about being to resonate with the universe and with the creator, and be part, independent, strong, powerful creator, with the universe. Not about being individual who take decisions we need to resonate with the nature, with the creator, with the universe, with the planets, with the stars, with the people. This is Aquarius.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Otherwise, it becomes Cancer. Otherwise, you become a rebel without a cause. You become the fallen angels that wanted to rebel against the will of God. And there is a motto for the age of Aquarius, or was it called that the master gave? He said that the age of Aquarius, the saying and the motto for the age of Aquarius is, in the fulfillment of the divine will is the happiness of the human soul. So yes, we'll be free, but it's a freedom where we align our willpower, our will to the divine will, and that's where you find the most freedom and joy in. So,
and exactly, you see the resistance, how the matrix is trying to separate people. 1.5 meters distance, or don't come in large groups, just because they see how powerful we are. And and especially this chain of people, which is created with the resonance of the human heart, this is how people connect. This is what they are.
you have to be live with the person. It's very hard to do it over the internet. You can still do this resonance, but when you're there in the energy field of the person, this 2 or 3 people gathered together, they can do something incredible. They can create a new system. They can change the world, and they don't want that. That's why
exactly.
Distance, be fearful, and some
1.5 meters, because your heart pulses and resonates within 1.5 meters. So they're afraid that when I come next to you, our hearts become one and we become stronger. This is what they are afraid of, because we really manage, because people are awakening, finding who they really are, and it becomes.
But it's incredible from the tropical astrological point of view how they launched that exactly with the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in the 0 degrees of tropical Aquarius, which is another wave of the Aquarian energy. So of course they had to do the opposite. And but that's exactly, it's awakening people more and more that something is off. That they crave even more human contact now. People like never before are starting to find their tribe, and they're starting to see who is like them and who has the same desires of them or the same impulse in them. And they're starting to, it became so irrelevant in 1 year. Celebrities, consumerism, luxury, and even I, who thought I was spiritual always and into those themes, I always dreamt of, going on luxury yachts and knowing, people in high society and living, having flats and big houses. And I'm like, oh my God, it's in 1 year, such an awakening. I want a garden where I can grow my food. I want 3 or 4 family friends around, or other houses and people, or 20 or 30 that we can eat food together, that we can share ideas. That's what I want. That's where real joy is. The other things, you're always empty. Why do you think that all the most addicted people and the most unhappy people have the biggest consumerist? Because the true joy is connecting with another person and co-creating a world you want. And that will be the beauty of Aquarius. And they're trying to turn it into the negative Aquarian energy. Cyborgs, connect to the IE, connect to the, become part of the internet. Well, some people will choose it. There are 2 trends.
Then the society will divide. You will see the greatest division. This is also the thing. The 2 extremes of Aquarius, the 2 extremes. This is what we're going to see. The cyborg people really who will fall into the, maybe this is exactly appropriate for them. Maybe this is good for them. I mean, it is okay. And the other part, which will choose nature.
Yeah. They'll choose, and they'll choose it. They need to have that experience. But it's said that at certain moment, certain souls with certain vibrations are not allowed to incarnate here anymore, because their vibration, the immune system will start breaking down. It's not going to work with the vibration that's being created right now on Earth. It's not going to work with the, it's not aligned to the purposes of the evolution that the age of Aquarius is bringing. So they'll just either become unhealthy or they'll start degenerating. And actually the master Rudolf Steiner, he's a great prophet. He died a long time ago, but he said at one moment with the sixth human race, which is the age of Aquarius, people would have divided so much that they would start looking absolutely different. The people that live according to the high vibrations of Aquarius: community, love, brotherhood, sharing, mutual ideas, in alignment with nature, using high technology despite of that, but using high technology in a moral way without it becoming, it's just to help you. And they would live a spiritual life, while the others would basically enter into their cities and whatever. He even sees it, and even the theosophists, Leadbeater, he sees into a few hundred years into the future, and he says that it's like they almost live like in reservations, and they don't want to come where the other people live, in the beautiful green free places, because they think we're crazy. They think that those other people are crazy. Are you like, they have totally distorted idea. They live in their technotronic societies, but he says they start looking so different. They physically, ones will start becoming like brighter and almost like he says, in certain cases, some people have like a shining aura around them. Their faces, everything will be noble, while the others, you start seeing the immoral disintegration on the physical appearance. Currently, you can't. You can see a psychopath and they can be beautiful outside. They
Absolutely.
you cannot, but they say within a few hundred years it will be so, because Rudolf Steiner says that during the age of Aquarius, the sixth post-Atlantic human race, the etheric body hardens. And the etheric body is what gives the shape of the physical body. Currently, it's more the etheric body is more rare, so to speak, but it starts becoming more dense, more. And when it starts hardening, the etheric body gets the imprint of the astral body, which is the feelings, which is the emotional body. What, are you positive? Are you negative? Are you jealous? Are you psychopath? Whatever, narcissist. So this will imprint on because the etheric body gives the physical body the appearance and the shape. So but on it is imprinted the feeling. So the people with negative thoughts, feelings, or evil, let's say, whatever we call currently evil thoughts, it will start imprinting the faces. So you'd be able to recognize the two types of people very easily with your eyes, but they'll not commingle. So they're not going to meddle into each other's. They're not going to try to destroy each other. They'll be like, it's like they don't see each other. They exist.
It's your choice.
But that's why I hate the thought of separation. I just don't like the thought of separation, that we'll be separating. But at certain moment, you can't allow wolves and lambs to coexist all the time. and they actually describe the occultists that at certain moment, those people won't be able to incarnate here anymore, because of the physically they won't be able to get pregnant. I'm not saying the next 20 years. I'm talking hundreds of years, here.
Maybe, yeah.
Might be fast. I don't know. There was never given.
But Wada, people, I hear it from so many people, your intuition becomes more powerful now, and you can see these people already. You see them, because we become more intuitive. I never thought I'm intuitive until 1 or 2 years ago, when all this started. We're really changing, and like you said, you didn't think even that you're spiritual. I mean, you thought you're spiritual, but this is now what the real, and maybe that's to come. Yes. So the thing is that you already sense, you see, we very much manage to intuitively to see to join to our, like you said, our tribe, and many friendships will fall apart and others will be formed. Yeah, of course.
But they'll be
that's already ultimate.
But it's so true, Krasi, because I've been researching a lot. Basically, a little bit I'm into the, and trying to understand people that are in the shadow, that choose the dark side fully, that they embrace it. And I was watching a lot of videos with basically they were part of the system of child abuse, that their parents would give them to people in high power, and they'll train them in special facilities. And this beautiful woman, she's now 50s, but when she was 5 years old or 6, she was given into that, and they trained her. And it's on the internet, you can watch it. Annika, I forgot her name, and she says what they taught her there was how to recognize in the eyes, in the little. She says there is a way to see, because she had to satisfy men, politicians, people in power, big businessmen. So they taught her in a month, psychologists, high-level psychologists, imagine what they involved, how to recognize what each man was into sexually, what kind of perversion, just by the expression of their face and by the certain, and she says, like, you can, there is a way to see if someone is a sex addict or pervert. There's certain special wrinkles around the eyes, and she says, like, I can see it, I can recognize it in everyone. So it's already there. There's, it always imprints on the face, it imprints on the features, but we're still not, we intuitively can feel it now, but in times that psychologists already know, high-level psychologists, they know, you know, and these are occult people that do those horrible things. They into the occult, they do face reading and everything. So they have this knowledge, but we'll be using this knowledge for good things instead. But it is already starting to happen, yeah.
We have such saying in Bulgarian word, we say, what is in your heart is on your face. We have this saying. The thing is knowledge, because the knowledge was stolen and hidden from us, and everything is coming out. They destroyed the Alexandrian library, doesn't matter. It all comes, knowledge just cannot stay still.
No, it's flooding now.
No, it cannot. And this is another thing here, is that cycles and time, to make use of the cycles and the time, to understand the astrological cycles and the time. This is very important. The time as we know, the time construct as we know it. This is very important, because we're being usually programmed and manipulated through these time cycles. See, because they know them. They know better than us, but we do now. Of course, we know a lot, never everything, of course, but the thing is to understand, and this is what we'll be teaching people also when we meet the astrological cycles. This is very, I believe,
yes,
important.
I'll be teaching for the next, what I'll be giving there on the web, on the retreat. I'll be looking at the Western cycles between, in the coming 10 to 15 years, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter,
Yes.
Neptune out going to the Western cross, will go into the sidereal, and we'll give more short term. We'll talk about the big cycles, but we'll give also more short term visions, let's say, how we interpret the stars.
Because when you know this, understand the cycles, you have advantage. They always thought ages and ages before, in advance, that this is why we're always surprised. Why are we always surprised? Because we were lacking knowledge, but not anymore, because we are awakening.
Yeah, they kept the knowledge for themselves, for the occult group. And that's what between the dark and the light souls is. The dark ones, they just want to keep the knowledge for themselves, while the light ones, they want to give it to everyone. And that's the difference between the two types. One wants power for themselves, the other wants for everyone. And I'm quite hopeful that it's a very small number of psychopathic such people. They rule the world currently, but it's such a small number that this wave of awakening that's happening now, it will turn things around. And they cannot centralize the world. They can do it for a few years, they can do it, but that is totally against the current of the age of Aquarius, because Aquarius is decentralized small groups. And even Master Bin Saduno said, this is how the world will be changed. You get together in small groups together, and you do the good things you want to do, and it will be over. But they'll try to do the opposite, totally centralized government. They can do it
because they knew the time is coming, and they had to oppose it. They had to stop it from happening. This is why they started with this. And when you think, why would they hurry some? I was wondering in the beginning, why are they on such? Why would they be so insisting and on hurry? Because they knew now is they have to oppose this cycle of awakening and but they will fail, because the darkness is always parasiting. The darkness cannot create can the human being, the real authentic human being, create with the creator. The rest is infiltration. It cannot live long. It is always, it's like the cancer cell. What is happening with the cancer? It's eating automatically itself. So is the dark, so are the dark forces. This is written in the book of the universe, if you want. They always destroy themselves because they are parasites. The parasites, they never created. They use the created by us and by the real creator. So it cannot go on forever. No way.
No, there is something that I'm going to talk on the retreat about the incarnation of Ahriman that will happen. It is just like the incarnation of Christ and the incarnation of Lucifer happened in 6,000 years ago. So Lucifer, Christ, and Ahriman, they're three. They're there, and it was programmed for humanity that those divine beings, they're from a higher, I'm not saying they're good, all of them. They're from a higher vibration, that they would come in every one came in Asia, in China, around 3,000 years before Christ. That was the Luciferic. I'll speak about that in detail, what each one brought. Then it was the Christed being, the solar being, and then comes Ahriman. And Rudolf Steiner said, there's no way avoiding it. Ahriman is going to come, but he needs the right conditions. So he's preparing for the right conditions. It needs to be very strong materialism. That people believe there is no life after death, that that's everything that is here on earth. And it has to be very highly developed technologies for this to happen. And it has to be one world government, where basically from one place, or maybe if it's not fully one world government, you see, it's not now one world government, but what they say in one place, all the governments do, because they're all under the control. And he said, these will be the three right conditions. We have those three right conditions. And he says, Ahriman comes at the beginning of the third millennium. And now it's the beginning of the third millennium. He says, high technology, very materialistic views, but it's falling apart for many, and central government. And he says, but he cannot stay longer than 42 months. His reign will be very short. It's not going to be a long time. And he says, and whether Ahriman takes humanity down depends on how materialistic humans are, or how literal and unspiritual they are. But I think, and that's what they're trying to do, separate people, But it's working the opposite. So, and he says, and then when Ahriman comes, if there are enough spiritual people, they'll recognize him for what he is. They'll just shrug it away, and it will be. And he says, Ahriman still is bringing certain things that are necessary for the evolution of the humans. And I'll speak about it on the retreat. I can talk about it for hours. I've been studying that. So
this is beautiful topic.
Yeah, but he says, like, it will bring very powerful high intelligence, a wave of very powerful high intelligence. But he says the negative side, if people go too much in that direction, or are under the impression that there is nothing else, it can stop the evolution of humanity in a powerful way. But this will not happen. Which,
No.
There's already enough people that are awakened. So
while saying this, this reminds me of something very important. Bulgaria, according to the master being Saturno, is the liver of the planet, the cleansing point. That is why the Bulgarians on the Balkans have difficult lives. But the liver in the human body is recovering every 3 months, right? You have a new liver every once in 3 months. So actually, this is why this part of the Balkans can never be destroyed, because we have the occultistic role. And this is why what people will see in Bulgaria, they can never see in every part of the world has beauty, unique beauty, but Bulgaria has its own beauty because we are the liver of the planet. And the sacred places in Bulgaria have very different energy and sound. It's something very, very different. This is something that has to be experienced.
I get recharged there. I get recharged. And the ability to feel joy depends on the liver. If your liver is heavy and clogged, you just feel like you can't feel joy from life. When your liver is cleansed, you're like light and happy. And we're going to go to the 7 chakras. We're going to go to 7 lakes that are they're like 7 chakras. Heart chakra, head chakra. You see, they even have the shape. They have the shape of the different chakras. It's incredible. One is like a heart, and it's a very spiritual place. We're going to go there. And even the master Bin Sadunu said that there is a path to Agartha there. It's Agartha is the
under the ground, right?
I don't know how. I don't think it's a physical place, Agartha. I think it's an astral place. But there is a entrance there or something. But yeah, so I think it will be very exciting coming together, talking about those very powerful uh, topics, uplifting each other and co-creating together, and basically tapping into the age of Aquarius energy. We sound so hippie now.
Oh, yes, yes, this is, yeah, this will be beautiful. This is our, road there is also part of the age of Aquarius.
Oh, I hope.
Awakening in a way, yes, I believe so.
Thank you so much, Krasi, for joining
Thank
me.
you, Wada. This was pleasure.
It was so much enjoyable. I can't wait to see you soon. Krasi will do on next Monday. We'll look at all the planets and the 12 signs for May. And I hope to see some of you and make lifelong friendships in Bulgaria in August. The tickets are available now. It's open. We have already around 10 people. So thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Already more and a lot of so
Yeah.
many people. So
Yeah.
many people are asking whether they can already subscribe, because we told them in the beginning not to hurry unless we have 10 people. So we have so many people asking, and this is the place to
Yeah,
say
we
that.
have 60 people that asked.
Oh, thank you,
A lot of
sure.
them are coming with us couples or with friends, and there is a discount for that. So if you don't want to be alone, you'll never be alone there. Don't worry. But
Oh no, of course not. No way.
thank you, Krasi. Have a
Thank you,
great day.
Wada. Bye bye,
Bye bye.
everyone.